Ravens flock, we are back. We are recapping the first preseason game of the Jesse Minter era. Uh, Ravens and Eagles played last night. The Ravens got the win in a pretty much meaningless exhibition game. Daniel Wilcox and Matt Trigger here. Um, Initial thoughts, Wilcox, on the Ravens' performance under new head coach Jesse Minter.
Exactly what I thought it would be. I thought we would be a very well coached team. We looked great. I think we only had 1 or 2 penalties in the entire game. Showed you had a lot of discipline, which I think is important in this league. You know, penalties can make you win or lose a game. Um, I like the patience from the offense. It didn't seem like they was in a hurry to do anything, but everything worked really, really well on the offensive side of the ball. The defense didn't give up a touchdown to the end of the fourth quarter. I love that. You know, you kind of give up that goose, kind of take a goose egg away, but it's an exhibition game, like Matt said. But I don't ever feel like these games are meaningless. All right, so let me say that first, Matt, because
Okay.
the reason why I don't feel that way is because this guys out there actually trying to make this team. And if they don't make this team, they're making somebody else's team if they perform well enough. And of course, we don't have a ton of spots and a ton of locations open for guys to come in to play for us. But you know, there's going to be some guys that played well in this preseason game that we all wanted to see play. We was all kind of waiting anxiously to see what number 6 was going to do. And we all was, I think, pleasantly surprised that he did a phenomenal job. Like, it transitioned from the practice field to the game, and he looked extremely well to me, and that got me excited. Even Surratt, you know, besides the fumble he had, you know, he had a great night. You know, 5 catches, I think 5 or 6 catches on the night, and he had the one caused fumble from behind by Wade, and he looked great, fighting for extra yards, stopping on the dime, changing directions. We got some really good football players on this football team, and it made me excited to see us go out and perform the way we did. Super excited about the game. So happy that football is freaking back. So happy I get a chance to see my buddy Matt at least twice a week. Excited. Every time they play a game, Matt, we get a chance to do what we're doing right now. That's why to me the game isn't meaningless. So we get a chance to talk about that shit. I love it.
Yeah, I was really happy with the performance last night. Mm-hmm. And I told you before the game, and I said this even after training camp last week, I said, I can't wait to see Adam Randall in his first game.
Right, you did.
12 carries, 46 yards, just a smidge under 4 yards a carry, playing behind a backup offensive line. And on top of that, he had a touchdown. He did. He runs. It's almost like he runs towards the contact. He doesn't shy away from contact with anybody, and he was putting his head down and actually trucking people. And I kind of want to give everybody a little bit of a breakdown to Adam Randall. He's 6'3" and 240 pounds. Now, he's not much smaller than Derrick Henry, but they are completely different backs. So
my size.
He's about your size, yes. Exactly. So, like, when he was standing near us, you guys were nearly identical in size. And Henry's a speed back. He's a one-cut back. He doesn't put his shoulder down to run people over a lot. He uses that amazing stiff arm more than anything else. We all know that. Derrick Henry's been in the league a long time. Randall is just your classic power back that is going to try to run through people and not necessarily away from people. On his touchdown run, I believe he hit 4 or 5 Eagles defenders before he got it into the end zone. He broke about 3 or 4 tackles in that one run. So, to me, Randall's going to be a little bit of thunder for our Lightning that we got. I liked the third string quarterback that came in, number 12, Vagano. He looked really good, and he threw an interception. That was just a good play in the back of the end zone on the part of the Eagles defense, but he looked good. If we can manage to kind of like sneak him as our emergency third QB, that would be nice.
I think what happened, Matt, I think he missed the receiver in the first window and the second window and tried to throw it in the third window. Mm-hmm. By that time, the DB had recovered already. It was a little bit too late. And the receiver had actually slowed down. He actually slowed down and gave him position because he didn't think he was going to still get the ball. He crossed the entire field almost. It was a good play by the DB. It was a bad throw by Fagano, though.
Yeah, I even like the fourth string kid from with number 15. I kind of got a little bit of PTSD seeing number 15 play quarterback for us after last year, but you know,
I know
it
that's
was
right.
nice. He scored on a rushing touchdown. He's probably not going to push Fagano for you know I guess reps, but because he played an amazing game. I do want to talk about one of our draft picks, and that's our first round draft pick, Vengaoni. That man was out there laying people out last night in those
He
two
was.
drives. He was out there.
He was. He
He,
looked good.
he looked good. Um, with him and Jacoby Lane, you could put them in bubble wrap for the rest of the preseason, and I'd be okay.
I would too.
I,
I would
I, I
too.
know that they need reps, and I know Jesse Minter is going to give them their reps, but their reps can come in practice. I think I'm not saying that they were world beaters by any means, but Jacoby Lane is as advertised, at least from the point of, like you said, transitioning from camp to the playing field. And Ione is a top 15 draft pick. I don't really think he needs much in the way of reps. They just got to get that starting offensive line figured out, whether it's going to be Painter or Pochik at center.
15 was Austin Reed from Western Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah.
Had a great game.
He-
I agree, Matt. 100%. You haven't said anything wrong at all. Everything you said was on point.
I wasn't really disappointed with the whole lot last night though. My expectations weren't very high because I didn't know what to expect, and I guess that's common. This is the first time that we haven't seen our good friend Harbs on the sideline in almost 20 years. So, I want to speak about Harbaugh for a second.
I knew that was a segue like a mug. But
yeah, right in there.
Yeah, sure.
New York Giants head coach John Harbaugh and Daniel Falele, their left guard.
You like saying that. You
I
really
love
did like say New York Giants head coach John Harbaugh.
and New York Giants left guard.
Oh shit!
They're both in midseason form. Daniel Falele looks like a turnstile.
They are who you thought they were.
And John Harbaugh is standing on the sideline with that dumbass look on his face already.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a little bit of pleasure in getting on one of the New York Giants Twitter feeds and just telling them, your turn.
Seriously, yeah.
He
threw that red flag out to try to do the replay, and then he didn't get it. He didn't win like he'd never won here in Baltimore with that damn replay flag, and he's still looking with that stupid face again.
That dumbass face, like I told you, I was appreciative of the Super Bowl. I was appreciative of a lot of the winning, but new blood, and we're ready.
Yeah,
our boys looked very prepared last night. I will say that much. They looked like they were locked in, and I want to say this: the tight ends looked fucking good.
They did. Everybody
looked good, but like the tight ends, Hibner. I didn't see a whole lot of Hibner. I didn't see a whole lot of Hibner at practice, but
great
man,
catch.
did Snoop and Fagano loved throwing to him. That was impressive. Cuevas had a couple catches. Yeah. And they were getting that kid out there, Lucas Scott, number 47. He was an inline blocking tight end. He's pretty much an offensive lineman out there. He's huge. Yeah. But it was weird seeing a Ravens offense without a traditional back for the first time in our team's history, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. Like the thing was, it was crazy to see it with us still being under center. Like normally we go in the center, we go to the I formation and stuff like that. So to not have a fullback back there was kind of crazy to see. We was under center a lot last night versus being in the shotgun. So it's going to be an interesting season. I can't wait to see how this kind of pans out.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the rest of this preseason looks. That's Joe. That's a great statement. They all play like a Raven. That's pretty much our sentiment exactly. The Hibner's sneaky fast. From what I saw on the field, he knows how to kind of somebody said it during the broadcast last night that he was kind of like a Pitta type of
Yeah.
tight end. And I don't necessarily know if I believe that
Right.
because they just see it's like they just see a white tight end that has a little bit of a shaky move and they automatically say he's Pitta or Todd Heap.
And
Like,
plus he
whoa,
had 88 on too.
yeah. So
Yeah.
but that's a lot to live up to. And the thing is, you know better than most people, being a tight end in Baltimore is not for the faint of heart.
I think it's one of those things for me watching them, like the catch that Hibner caught down the sideline that Snoop threw. He was in the backfield, like in the wing alignment. He came off the ball like he was he kind of had like a scoop release, and then he turned it into a flat route. So it was a double move. It was a flat route. It was out and up, like a wheel route almost. And the move was a really good move. It definitely could have been a little bit better, but all you got to do is get the linebacker to turn his head and take one step in the wrong direction. And he did exactly that. As soon as he did it, his timing was perfect. As soon as, he turned his head back to look for the ball, like on the flat route. As soon as the linebacker took one step upfield, like he was going to jump the flat, he put his foot in the ground, turned the shoulders, and went upfield. And Snoop just made a freaking phenomenal throw, like right over the outreach hands of the linebacker and in perfect location. And Hibner went and got it.
Dropped it right there. That was an incredible touch by.
I agree.
By Snoop.
Great touch.
I will say this: I'm happy and that the Ravens are fortunate to where they have probably one of the best backup QBs in all of football.
I agree. 100%. So, especially for this team, like he plays better for this team than anybody else.
I know, and it's clear. I mean, he bounced around a little bit when he left here after his Pro Bowl year.
Mm-hmm.
But to see that he's happy being where he's at, that was evident in practice, and it's evident during the game. He knows that there's not going to be an immense drop off like there was going from Lamar to Cooper Rush last year. Going from Lamar to Tyler will definitely hurt. Knock on wood that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but
I want to see him healthy.
He looks comfortable running this offense, and I liked how they had kept. Let's switch over to the defense for a second. I like how they kept some of our more well-known defenders out there for a little bit more reps than usual. Mm-hmm. In particular, Broderick Washington. He hasn't been very healthy the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and they paid him a lot of money a couple of years ago. So to see him out there getting some reps, he looked solid. He was, stout in the run game last night. They didn't have many big runs. I think they only had like 2 or 3 big runs last night that went over 10 yards.
Yeah.
Adisa Isaac, number 50, he looked okay. I thought that was initially an interception, but once they took a minute to kind of confirm it, I was like, oh, it's coming back. It hit the ground.
Right.
I couldn't see it from the initial TV angle, but the ball definitely hit the ground. And one of the guys, our friend Zach, that has been on our show a couple of times, he texted me. He was like, "How come if the ball hits the ground and a receiver has possession of it, it remains a catch, but if he fumbles it or it pops up after the ball hits the ground, it's not deemed an interception?" That's a good thought process, but the ball hit the ground in the course of the play, so they're naturally going to call it an incomplete pass.
Usually, you got to control the ball through the ground, like the ground contact. If you don't control it through the ground contact, it's incomplete. And it also counts. It also goes towards the amount of steps you took before you caught it. Right? You got to catch it and you got to make a football move up the field. You got to take at least 2 to 3 steps, and then if you hit the ground, then it's still a catch. But if you catch it and go straight to the ground while you're catching it, then if you don't maintain control of the ball through the fall, then it's not a catch.
Right. So, I mean, it was a good question, but I mean, you know the rule book more so than most. And I liked how the defense was flying to the ball. A lot of these young guys were out there looking for the contact. Number 39, Jackson, the safety, he was flying around on special teams and on defense last night.
He's a big guy.
He's looking to make the team. And the thing is, like you said at the beginning of this show, Wilcox, this roster is pretty much set. There's not really a whole lot of areas that need depth, and safety is one of those areas that does. But we all know Hamilton, Starks, and Jalen Hawkins are our top three safeties. So now you got to find that fourth safety, and is it going to be, that young man Jackson? Is it going to be Keon Martin? We're not really sure who it's going to be because the corner room is going to be hard to break. The corner room is
Yeah,
going to be very hard to break.
yeah. They got Cal listed right now as like nickelback, and
Yeah,
then they got Malachi Starks at free and Jalen Hawkins at strong safety. The Keandre Jackson kid, we both looked at him. He's a 6'2", 215 safety. I think he needs size back there. I think he's a guy you definitely keep. They got him in second string right now, backing up Jalen Hawkins. And then Kevon Wallace. We both like Wallace last year. He was a guy
yeah.
that showed up quite a bit for us. Had a good night last night as well. They got him backing up Malachi. And then they got Keon Martin, who played his ass off last night, backing up Kyle Hamilton. So I guess it kind of makes sense why he was in so many plays because he's playing that Kyle Hamilton position.
I do want to shout out the young man number 29, Chauncey Rivers from Duke. He played a good night. He played a good bit last night. He looked good.
Our new corner, right?
New corner. I like how he looked. And number 42, the middle linebacker that was playing for us last night. He was the old school linebacker, and he doesn't wear gloves. He just wears tape on his fingers.
42.
Number 42. You have the roster pulled up?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Go ahead. You can keep talking. I'll tell you who he is as soon as I find it.
He looked like he was locked in. He was flying around, man. He was making tackles. He was, in passing lanes. He was going sideline to sideline. The defensive line was keeping him clean for the most part. I liked what I saw out of him, and I liked what I saw. It was very limited, but Zion Young just getting in there and getting some reps against somebody that's not Ronnie Stanley or Roger Rosengarten.
You talking about Dominic DeLuca?
Yes, Dominic DeLuca. Yes, he looked
Penn State kid.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State is like a linebacker university almost.
Correct. His name I kept seeing his name last night, DeLuca on the back. I kept remember seeing DeLuca on the back of his jersey. So yeah, he did make some plays for us last night. He's gonna probably, right now they don't have him at middle. That's why it took me a while to find him. They had him at right outside backer.
Okay. He looked like he was playing in the field for a lot.
Yeah, they got him playing at right inside linebacker.
Okay.
He's backing up Teddy Buchanan and Trenton Simpson. He's in third spot right now.
I know it's only one preseason game, but last year they kept Jay Higgins. Jay looked good last night. Yep. But if DeLuca keeps on flying around to the ball like that, the Ravens are famous for keeping an undrafted linebacker on their team, and you played with quite a few.
Yeah, Jay is backing up Roquan right now. He's number 2 in the number 2 spot.
So the only way I see both of those guys making the team is if Teddy gets put on the short-term IR to start the season. But he looks like he's ready. He looks like he's almost ready to go.
Yeah, Buchanan.
Yeah, Buchanan. I mean, he was when we were at camp last weekend. He was working out on the side field.
Yeah, he looked good.
He looked good. He was out there. He looked mobile, and all those type situations. I'm just like you alluded to earlier, dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good football players on this team that aren't going to make this team. It's a numbers game.
Correct.
And we're going to see these guys. So all these Ravens fans that watch our shows, and we're going to be talking about a lot of these guys for the next 2 weeks after this game. There's going to be some guys that are going to be picked up, and you're going to be like, "Damn, why couldn't we keep him?" But then you also got to tell yourself, like, who are you cutting off of this football team that's a veteran to make room for the new guys? We got a lot of money tied up in the defense right now, so it's not like we're going to cut one of these $15 or $20 million guys for the undrafted free agent rookie who looked good against other second and third stringers. The real test is going to be when we see these guys play against guys that get legitimate playing time in the NFL.
Yeah, I just want to take our time, man, to just give a round of applause to our defense last night. Somebody said, Frank G Life said that our defense was impressive last night. And we haven't said that shit in probably 3 years, man. So just think about where those guys came. These are the exact same guys from last year. And then they went out there and played their ass off like that in the first preseason game to represent the Baltimore Ravens the way they did. Super proud of those guys. Super excited for them. Super happy for them. And to me, that's exactly what a Ravens defense is supposed to do: give you that goose egg week in and week out. They played their asses off, made it really easy for us to win. I can't, all I can do is take my hats off to them and tell them, congrats guys on a great start. I hope they continue to let it roll right into the season. I know we got another 4 preseason games, but I hope that rolls right into the season and it continues to play hot the way they did last night. The thing I think that was most impressive for me, everybody was looking at what was happening on the field. For me, I was looking at what was happening off the field. And on the sideline, man, the energy was electric. Those older guys, the veteran guys, it was impressive, man. Like to see them excited for the young guys and see them all in great moves. I saw a couple interviews. Lamar got interviewed on the sideline. Lamar looked great. He looked like he was ecstatic. He was happy to see these guys perform. They asked him about Jacoby Lane, and you could just, his whole face lit up as soon as they mentioned his name. The kid is somebody I think that Lamar is going to be happy to throw to throughout the year. I think he's going to become one of those favorite targets for Lamar. And we all were stripping when Isaiah Likely left. This kid, I think, is going to make up for it at the receiver position to give him another big, tall receiver, deep threat down the field as the game goes on. In hard times and crunch times, when you need that guy to show up, you got a jump ball guy that can jump up over some guys and go get it. He's going to be a little longer arms, bigger hands, and he seems to just has very great hand and eye coordination and natural ball skills. He's just a natural catcher. You can tell he probably been catching the ball since he came out the womb. And this kid is just playing lights out. He's phenomenal, man. He looks great last night. He looked really good last night. He looked big, looked strong, looked physical, looked very comfortable on the field, like he's been there his whole life. So hopefully he'll continue to improve and stay healthy this season. We wish that for him and the rest of these guys on our squad. But I was impressed with the energy that was on the sideline. Even when they took Jacoby out, they took Lane out the game, him taking his pass off. Matt, it took me 4 years to take my pass off during preseason. Seriously, 4 years of my career, bro. Like before they said, "Hey, Wilcox, you're done for the night." And the first time they told me I was done for the night, I didn't take my pass off. I kept them on. I just stood on the sideline like this right here, holding my pads the rest of the game. I unstrapped my shoulder pads, but I kept them on. And it wasn't until I think year 5 or 6 before I started taking my pass off. That kid, man, he's already first preseason game done, the first quarter, pass off. Instant veteran. I hope the kid has a Hall of Fame career and he continues to grow and continues to be the best version of himself he could possibly be.
He's going to be wide receiver 2 before the year is over. I'm not saying that as a slight to 7.
Hey man, it is what it is. 7 had plenty of years to figure it out. So
yeah, and like you said, he's had a lot of years to figure it out, and this kid seems to be a fan favorite already. They go crazy for him at camp. He's a social media darling.
Got that
and
juice.
He went out there when he had his touchdown catch. He ran the slant and he caught the ball and he dragged those 2 guys about 2 or 3 yards into the end zone. So he doesn't look like he's an easy tackle. Granted that's 1 catch. I understand that. But he caught the ball and fought to get in the end zone. That's stuff we have not seen from a lot of our wide receivers in a long time. So you add a 6'4", 215, 220-pound monster athlete to the mix with guys like Zay and Mark Andrews and Derrick Henry out there. It's gonna be a potent offense. And Declan Doyle called a good game last night. There wasn't many plays I was watching. I'm like, why did he do that? And I wasn't trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a first-time play caller. But a lot of his sequence of plays made sense. There wasn't anything like, why are you running the ball on 3rd and 8 to get into a position to punt better? Or
it wasn't a lot of things I questioned either last night.
I was sitting there like I felt weird. I know it's preseason, but I felt weird though, Wilcox, watching this game, and I wasn't stressed, and I wasn't like, what the hell is he doing, or why is Monken doing this, or why is Harbaugh doing that? It was just refreshing. When they panned to Jesse Minter, every single time they showed him on TV, he had the play call sheet in his hand. He's sitting there circling things and scratching things out, and he's interacting with all of his players. Doyle's up top in the skybox, which is cool. Most offensive coordinators sit up there anyway.
Correct.
But just seeing how the coaches interacted on the sidelines with these guys. And sitting there with the iPad type thing and going over what was what they did wrong, what they did right. They even though you couldn't see it verbatim what they were saying,
Right.
you saw active coaching going on, and that made a world of difference to how happy I was watching this football game.
Yeah, I still think it's kind of early. It's too early to kind of be looking for tendencies out of these guys because we starting to get to know them just like they getting to know the fans, and the players. So it's kind of early for us to be looking for something bad. But we became so used to looking for the bad shit. Like damn, what the hell are we doing? Like week in and week out. But I didn't. I think this is such a fresh feeling for all of us. Like it never even crossed my mind last night until you just said it now, Matt. Like I wasn't looking at the game the way I normally look at it. I wanted to enjoy Raven football, and it was a good game. It was a really good game by us. Could it have been more exciting? Of course it could have been. It could have been a ton of big ass hits. It could have been some guys knocked out of the game and all that stuff, which most of that stuff is damn near illegal now. But at the same time, man, 24 points. I told you, if we scored 21, we're supposed to win every game. It was a lot of games last year that we scored more than 21 and lost. I think that's a problem. So this game is exactly what I needed to see from this team and this squad, this staff, and I'm happy, man. I'm right now. I'm ecstatic about the season that's coming up, and I hope everybody in the city of Baltimore is ecstatic just like we are. And I'm proud of our scouting department, Matt. Their job. Like me and Trippy was just in here talking back and forth about 6 and 7, and the scouting department job, their job is to out recruit you every single year. So for Bateman to have 2 or 3 years to show, improve, and get better and get better and get better for 2 or 3 years, and he fell off last year with the injuries, and the year before he got hit in the face with the ball that none of us forgot that shit. And then now you bring in a guy like this kid, like the Jacoby Lane kid, and he instantly everybody feel like shit, this guy could be number 2. That goes to recruiting. Like recruiting, the scouting department, that's their job, to replace you every single year, to go out recruit what they did last year. They definitely did their job by bringing in number 6. Now we got to focus some of that energy on number 33 because we really do got to get that figured out. Like we can't go into this season, missing kicks.
There we go. Okay. We were going to eventually have to talk about
correct
33, but I do want to add on to the praise you gave the scouting department and to the defense. Another thing I want to say about the defense before we talk about the special teams of it all.
Okay.
The pursuit drills that you and I watched last weekend,
correct,
are actively coming into fruition on the football field. That defense swarmed the ball carrier every single play. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 Ravens jerseys on the ball carrier. It was multiple. And that is fundamentals. That's fundamental football. You and I both know that. Whether you played at Pee Wee, high school, or the NFL, that is fundamental football on defense. All 11 running to the ball carrier if you can. And that many guys around the ball constantly made me happy. But let's get back to 33. I'm not necessarily thrilled that the first kick that he had following the last kick that he had was the same distance and the same result.
Yeah.
I also believe that he is not very good at this whole kickoff thing. He's not getting into the end zone, and all of his kicks veered towards the sideline. This is not the year to be putting up with this bullshit. It's not the year. I'm not saying that he's a bad person. I'm not saying that he's a bad kicker. But it's obvious that there's something between the ears going on where this is a lot more difficult for him than this may seem.
Yeah.
And he has the added pressure of being the first kicker drafted in the Ravens history. All of our kickers have been either free agent signings or undrafted free agents. So we've never had a kicker in here that we've invested a draft pick into, let alone one that high, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like how Tyler Loop looked last night. And it's fair criticism because that was the most non-pressure kick you can make. It's a preseason football game. You're just worried about you're putting points on the board, but come on.
the thing is, he started off the season how he finished it last year. That scares me. And it's like a relationship. Once your girl shows you who she is, yeah, you got to listen. So it's one of those things for me. It's the same thing. Like once your guy shows you who he is, you got to listen to him. You can't ignore all the red all the red flags. And I think that's the thing that kind of worries me at this point. He finished the season last year on a crushing miss that ended the season to a team that we should have beat and that shouldn't have been in the playoffs in the first place. But it should have never came down to that. It wasn't all his fault. But still, it was his fault that he missed that kick. And then you come back this season and you started off the same way. That just let me know that the nerves are there. And mentally, he's still kind of in his own head about it. And as much as you want to think that he's forgotten about it, maybe he hasn't. And even if he has, after missing that kick, now everybody's going to be talking about it, so that puts it back in his mind, even if he had kind of erased it, which I don't like. So to me, there are some signs of concern there. And because there are some signs of concern there, you need to turn the heat up on his ass a little bit by bringing in some more kickers and making them compete and earn that shit all over again.
Wilcox, I do want to say something about you talking to Trippy about kicking. He was one of the best high school football kickers in the mid 2000s in Baltimore City.
That's dope. That's dope.
So he does know a little bit about kicking, not the way the NFL guys do. I just thought it was funny because you don't really know. I've known Trippy since we were like 11 years old. So I played middle school football with one of his cousins.
Yeah.
He was always at our games, and he played on another team in a lighter weight group. But because we played on the unlimited team, don't make a fat joke. But
yeah, unlimited snacks. My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trip. My bad.
But yeah, Trippy was in fact a high school football kicker. So I don't know if he's got the range that he used to, but yeah. Anyway, what do you do about this though, Wilcox? If you're Jesse Minter, are you riding with Loop, or are you going to go out there on Tuesday like it always is for the guys that come in and try out? Are you going to go and find a veteran kicker to compete?
I'm going to get a veteran kicker to compete 100%. Like I'm not wasting time to bullshit around. I can't afford this to lose a single game this year from a kick. We lost 6 last year because of a kick.
Yep.
6 or 7 games. It was something ridiculous. I've never seen us lose that many games by a field goal, and every game we had a missed field goal in those games we lost. So if it's me, I'm definitely bringing in a veteran guy. I'm not going to hesitate. You got some of the best player personnel guys in the entire country working for you. I say let them guys do their job. Bring in a kicker that we can use to apply some pressure. And one of the things I think that Billick did that I always thought was impressive with Matt Stover was he used to ask Stover, when he wanted to kick. And he used to ask Stover where he needed the ball at in order to kick. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was impressive. Stover would literally tell me I need it inside the 30 this week. My leg ain't strong enough to get anything past 30. So if we didn't get it inside the 30, we're going to punt that shit and try to down it inside the 5. Right. So it was one of those things to me where he trusted Stover enough and Stover trusted him enough. And they actually had conversations about when it was time for Stover to kick versus when it wasn't. I don't know if Tyler Loop has that type of pull yet. Like Stover had been around the league so long and been with Billick for so long that he trusted him. He knows Stover was automatic. And if Stover had been missing kicks, from a certain distance, like Loop had been missing that kick going in that same direction in pregame, had missed that same kick several times. So all you could think about is missing that kick from the pregame, So if he had started working his way in, he said, all right, I'm good going in this direction from anything inside the 40-yard line. Once it gets out past the 40-yard line, I've missed every single thing outside the 40. So he'll tell you, Stover would be like, hey, I need the ball at the 35 on the left hash or the right hash, and I'm fine. Anyone on the left or the right hash, I'm good. So to me, that stuff is important. And that's the communication that you got to be able to have with your kicker if you want to keep him in the mindset where he won't miss kicks and you never put him in the spot where he can miss one. Because if you're telling him to kick a 60-yard field goal and everything has been caught in the wind from 49 yards out or 50 yards out, and you're trying to get him to kick a 50 or 60-yarder, Like he's going to be nervous that he's going to miss that kick 100% of the time. Like communication is everything.
You're absolutely right. You didn't say anything that I could disagree with, but I saw this a lot on social media last night.
What?
Isn't this the type of situation where you need an experienced kicker with ice in his veins?
I think so. So the reason why I just said what I just said, Matt, is because if you don't care what your kicker range is every single game, then you're going to put him in situations where he could lose. If he know he can't hit anything outside the 40 this week, and then you put him in a situation where he's kicking from the 50 or the 60, he already know he can't hit it. His leg ain't strong enough to get it there. He might be tired or fatigued. You just never know. So you got to have that line of communication open with your kicker so that he can be honest with you and be like, hey, if it's not inside the 50, I wouldn't go for it. Like we could have punted that ball in that 49-yard field goal. We could have punted that down inside the 5, took a shot by downing them inside the 5, get them on the 1, get a sack, get a safety. They kick it back off to us and we driving again. So that's how you got to look at it as a head coach. So to me, if your kicker don't feel confident enough to kick it, and Tyler Loop got to be confident enough to say, hey, coach, nah, not going in this direction. I don't think I'm going to make this. You know, you got to be confident enough to tell your head coach that. But most of the time when you're a young guy, you're afraid to tell your head coach any damn thing. You're afraid to tell him that you can't do anything. You want him to think that you're Superman. You want him to go to you like every time he comes to you, it's automatic. But this is what causes your guys to lose confidence. He literally got at the press conference and said, man, I struggled going that direction from 49. I was struggling, the whole pregame. It was just, I couldn't get it to go in. And I remember I had to kind of move the ball. I had to kind of aim differently, and I aimed it, and then it just went outside. This time I aimed it where I thought I needed to aim it at, and it went a little bit wider than I needed it to go. And I was like, I knew I had the leg length because I had been kicking it from pregame all game. I realized I needed to adjust the kick because of the wind and how the stuff was moving in the stadium and all that type of stuff. And when I got into the game, I tried to adjust it the way I thought I needed to. And then it ended up towards the end, it ended up going a little wider than it was supposed to, So he was already in his head about a 49-yard kick going in that direction because he had dealt with it pregame already. So if you're having that conversation with him, you don't put him in that situation. Maybe you get the ball an extra 10 yards down the field and then you let it kick it. But we could have punted that and down it inside the 5 or inside the 10, and would probably had a better outcome than what we did.
It's alarming that in a day and age where most kickers can hit it from 55, 60 consistently.
Correct.
And we had one of those guys that could hit it, that was hitting in pregame from 70, 75.
Yes.
And then you got a kid now that is not even confident from 49.
Yeah, and I mean it's a very detailed art.
It is
and very detailed art.
And a lot of people don't realize, unless they've played it at the level, not even just the pro level, but special teams dudes are kind of weird anyway. Like they don't practice with everybody else. Most of the practice, they're over there working on the long snap to the hold. They're working on angled kicks, onside kicks. They're not in drills with the rest of the 53 or the 63-man roster, or the 8, however many guys you got in camp. They're off over there kind of like in La La Land doing their own shit. I'm not saying that they're not focused, but a lot of it is very isolated individual drills. So you're going to be in your head, and you got to have a solid psyche to deal with that. And it's obviously not translating to where you're panicking essentially in your head about a kick from 49 yards. Yeah. And it's very, and I feel bad for Loop in the sense that we've talked about this on this show about other players. You really feel bad for the first free safety that came here after Ed Reed retired.
True.
You feel bad for the first middle linebacker that we drafted after Ray Lewis hung the cleats up.
True.
You felt really bad for the person that had to replace Joe Flacco, and it ended up being another generational quarterback. We're going to feel bad for the first person who's going to replace Lamar Jackson years down the line. But you're replacing Justin Tucker. Now, did Justin Tucker have a bad year in 2024? Yes, he did.
Correct.
But You can't be this as an NFL kicker for the Baltimore Ravens. You have to go see a sports psychologist if you got to, because right now it doesn't look like it doesn't look like he's putting anything together. And I know this is August. I know that this might be a little bit of doom and gloom for this show, but like you said, we lost 6 games last year by a total combined 20 points. If Tyler Loop makes those kicks, we are in a deep playoff run last year.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does suck, because if you take away those losses by the combined 20 points, the Ravens lose 4 games last year, and we're talking about a 13-4 Ravens team, not an 8-9 Ravens team. So to me, you got to go find somebody. And I don't even want to sound funny when I say this, but a lot of people on social media on all the platforms last night were like, let Tucker serve his 10-game suspension and bring him back. The tough luck, people. We will never see Justin Tucker in a Ravens uniform again. There's no way that you get past what he had to go through. But I don't know, like, what kickers are even available right now that you could possibly bring in here to push him, because kickers are kind of like offensive linemen, Wilcox. If you're good, you're supposed to be on a roster. If you're sitting at home in the middle of August, like, what?
Need to go get Martin Gramatica.
Did he tear his ACL celebrating?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You need to go get Martin Gramatica. Tell him to get off the damn couch.
I mean, I'm looking at a list of like the available kickers right now.
Yeah.
And it's not good. It is not good, because a lot of these guys are has-beens or never was type kickers. And I don't know, man. I don't know who you bring in here. I'm looking at Walter Football right now.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he was 1 for 4 last year from 50 yards.
Yeah,
his longest field goal was 52 yards.
Trippy said that in the comments,
in the chat,
in the chat, that is horrible to even think about. I don't even want to think about that. Like, if you got a kick from 50 plus, so we're essentially chalking that up as a short field for the offense on the other team.
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable, man. Like, we should have been in a lot more games last year. He missed 6 total field goals. He attempted 34 field goals. He made 30 out of the 34. He missed 4 of those. Extra points, he attempted 46 and missed 2 extra points. Those are supposed to be gimmies like free throws, but ain't nobody perfect. It is what it is. Longest field goal was 52 yards. And then, like Trippy said, he was 1 for 4 from 50 plus yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Trippy. Bring Tucker back. Shit, the stuff is over now. Hopefully people leave him alone. Maybe he'll be able to focus and get his swag back.
I mean, the only guys that are available right now are Graham Gano. He was a Raven years ago.
I don't think we got to talk about it. Just bring Tucker back, Matt. Just call him. Call him up, Matt. You got his number on speed dial?
I don't.
Damn
it. We don't run in the same social circles, I'm afraid.
I thought you liked massages too.
No.
Oh, you don't?
No.
I love massages.
Our wives watch these shows, right?
Our wives watch this show, right? I think every man on here like massages.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with in and every now and then. We like to be happy.
It's
sorry.
I'm moving on.
Sorry.
I'm moving on, big dog. I'm moving on. Anyway, do you think that the Ravens would ever go that route though and bring Justin Tucker back to the fold?
No. I think it comes with too much. There's too much maybe backlash that'll come from it. I mean, I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't think it'll happen for real. I would love it. I would love for Tucker to come back. I don't really know all the ins and outs to the whole scandal, the whole thing that went down. So it's kind of hard for me to really truly talk about the whole situation, But at the end of the day, man, like the guy was a hell of a kicker.
Yeah.
He did a phenomenal job for us. He had his worst year 2 years ago when we decided to move on from him, and that whole year he was dealing with behind the scenes, and nobody knew what was going on with him. But he had a mental issue that he was dealing with, man, and that mental issue became public. So I hate it for Tucker. I mean, I really feel like he was a great guy, great for the locker room, great energy, great juice. He went out there like he didn't care. He didn't give a damn. He went out there and kicked every ball like he didn't care. It was the same technique, same form every single time. And once something threw him off mentally, then it just kind of derailed his whole project and the whole thing that he had worked his ass off to become. So I hate it for him.
I mean, you're right. But if I'm Jesse Minter tomorrow when they report back to practice, or Tuesday whenever they report back,
yeah,
I would have Graham Gano and a guy like Daniel Carlson flown in from wherever.
Yes.
And be kicking on one of those side fields, because the weak link can't be the kicker this year. Too many of our games last year came down to the kicking. Now, do I think that we're going to be in that situation again this year? No, I do not.
I don't either.
But in that instance, we need somebody that has their head on their shoulders and isn't in their own brain thinking, "Oh my God, I was struggling in pregame. Please get 5 yards closer. Please get 2 yards closer."
Yeah,
we don't need that type of mental psyche going on with our guy, and we might be reading too much into it. But
no, that's what you got to have, Matt. I'm telling you right now, like. I used to listen to Stover tell Billick, like, if it's inside the 40, it's automatic today. But you got to think about what it comes down to. When you're kicking in the dome, the ball goes where you want it to go. When you're kicking outside, like Baltimore, these stadiums that are outside, and it's right off the water, that wind tunnel, like you don't know what direction that wind is going to blow. Like the flag could be going all type of ways. That's why they got the flag on the top of the field goal post. Mm-hmm. So you can try to figure out which way the wind is going. If you're kicking into the wind, and then as you kick the ball, the wind starts swirling this way, sideways, side to side, instead of going, back and forth. Now it's going to take your ball one way or another, when it gets up high enough, So I'm telling you, bro, like you have to be able to listen to your kicker. Like that's why we call Stover automatic. Because Billick never put him in a situation to kick a ball,
right?
When he knew he wasn't gonna be able to make that kick. Like, why would you put me in a situation to fail if you're my coach? You're supposed to put me in a situation where I could win. If my confidence is built and my confidence is at an all-time high, then I never miss a kick. But if you keep putting me in almost damn near impossible situations to kick the ball, and then I keep missing them, then my confidence is gonna be shot. And I think that has a lot to do with this, dog. Like, you can't have a guy come out and kick a field goal just because you're in field goal range. You have to make sure it's in his range for that day. And if you don't do that, then you'll get situations like what you just got. The dude don't get on there and say, man, I was missing a bunch from that way. And because of this, I tried to adjust, and I adjusted in pregame, and I tried to adjust in the game, and it didn't work. So it kills the guy's confidence. It's like asking the quarterback to throw the ball 50 times in the rain, and all the receivers are trying to catch the ball, but it's too slippery to catch it because it's muddy. We playing on grass, and it's outside, and our gloves are soaking wet. Our hands are soaking wet. The ball slips through our hand because the ball weighs freaking 100 pounds by the time it gets to you when the quarterback throws it hard. So you got to call the type of plays where the ball could just kind of fall in your breadbasket when it rains. So if you're asking the quarterback to throw the ball 50 times in the rain, you're going to have some drops. It's going to kill his confidence. It's going to kill his average. It's going to kill the receivers' confidence because they're dropping balls and they mad at themselves. You're going to see them looking at their hands like, why? So it's like you can't put people in a bad situation, and then when you get a bad product from that situation, you think it's their fault. And that's how you're going to look to all of us out here like it's the kicker's fault. But really, the coach got to be able to communicate with him well enough to know whether or not he can make this kick or not. And he has to be confident enough to be like, Coach, I can't do it. Like I can't make it from 50 with the wind the way it is right now. It's not going to happen. So you have to be able to communicate with your players, and he has to be able to communicate with his coach. That's why I thought that was when I saw Billick doing that with Stover, I was blown away. I had been with 3 teams already before I got here, and I never had seen that or witnessed that before. And I didn't know if any other coach had done that, but when I noticed Billick asking Stover that, it threw me. I was like, wow, I still remember that to this day because it was that big of an impact to me. I don't remember a lot of shit, man. You know that I forget a lot of
Yeah.
things, but my mind is not what it used to be. So for me to be able to remember that little small, minute detail, it had to be something big that stood out to me, and I was impressed with that.
And shout out to Billick because when you explain it the way you explain it now, a lot of people I remember just being a fan growing up, and Billick always carried two kickers on the roster,
Always.
always. And a lot of people would always get mad, like, why is he carrying two kickers on the roster when you can have your punter kick off? Well, if a lot of people don't remember, before Sam Cook got here to the Ravens as our punter and Jordan Stout,
Mm-hmm.
our main punter was Kyle Richardson, and Richardson and Stover were built in the same manner where they knew their limitations as a kicker and a punter, to where they brought in the dude Wade Ritchie. If you remember, he was one of your teammates back in the day. He was the kickoff man. All he did was go out there and he had a rocket leg, but he didn't have the accuracy that the other guys did. So he
Mm-hmm.
just went and kicked the ball as far into the end zone as he possibly could for a couple of years for us.
That's it.
They always had somebody that could do that. So that was an incredible amount of forethought on the part of Billick to construct the team that way. And now we just don't have it. Like, we don't have room to carry a third kicker.
Yeah,
Or
and Stover. Remember we had Stover on that time. Stover. First
yeah,
thing Stover was like, "Yeah, you kick your leg out. You know, you
yep,
kicking the ball. You trying to kick a touchback every single time on kickoff, and you scoring a lot on offense and defense. You know, the kicker got to kick that kickoff like 10 times a game, and you sitting around, you come back cold, and you got to kick that thing out the end zone. You mess around and throw your leg out. So if you're a kicker that kicks field goals and kickoffs, like that was a lot of freaking kicks.
yeah. And then for a while, early on in Stover's Ravens career, there was that stretch during the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl run, where he was our offense for 5 weeks. So that's a lot of strain right there in itself.
It is a lot. I agree.
I just hope that they make the right decision and they find competition for him, because bringing in another undrafted guy or bringing in a guy that's never kicked in the NFL before, like, consistently, you got to go get somebody that is willing to push him. Everybody needs to be pushed, but particularly this guy. I don't like how that went down.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, JP said he looks like he's nervous. He looks
So
like
I've
he's scared to make a mistake.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. This this fan base is unforgiving. You know that personally now. As watching it, covering the team as a fan and a content creator now.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that his missed kick was the nail in the coffin for Harbaugh, and we knew
Nah,
after
nah. It
not,
wasn't the kid, guys. It wasn't the
you're
kid.
right. It wasn't. He was going
Yeah,
to get fired anyway.
he was.
He was going to get
What
fired.
is?
And,
But Shotty told you out of his own mouth, if he hadn't made that kick, we went into the playoffs. They would have just delayed, fired him another couple of weeks. That's it.
right.
He was out. He was on his way out anyway. This kid missing the field goal last year. If all you guys out there think this kid's missing the field goal is what got Harbaugh fired, you're absolutely wrong. It has nothing to do with this kid missing the kick. Nothing.
A lot of it has to do with the fact that we had a 75% winning percentage with Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh, and we have 0 Super Bowls to show for it.
Yes,
And we had
100% agree.
20 fourth quarter collapses in the Harbaugh era.
Yes,
So that
100%
was
agree.
so those far outweigh that missed kick. But a lot of people are holding Luke, they're holding his feet to the fire that, hey, we had Stover, we had Hauschka for a minute, we had Tucker for a dozen years.
Yeah,
You're not him. And that's incredibly unfair, because that's just the nature
yeah,
of the beast, though. That's the nature of the beast.
yeah. I think Stover is a Hall of Famer. I think Tucker is a Hall of Famer. So to have 2 Hall of Famers in the last 20 years is crazy. So
And you're following that.
yeah, you got to follow that. So you just got to understand like what you're doing. It's a lot of teams out there that's been struggling in the kicking department. And under Jarrett Harbaugh, the special teams coach that got the head job, he's done a great job of making sure we've had a good kicker.
Absolutely. To wrap the show, I've never asked you this before on air, and I want you to kind of give everybody inside thought process when you're in training camp every single year? Now we've talked a lot about your training camps over the years, particularly with the Ravens.
Correct.
When you switch over and it's actual live fire game situation, going from the training camp mindset to the regular practice mindset, what is the biggest change going from one to the other?
Really nothing. You get a chance to hit other guys that ain't yours. Guys that you hit every single day. There's a familiarity there. You know what he's going to do. You know how he's going to come and approach you. So when you go and play against another team, you have no idea what to expect. You don't know if he's going to hit you low. You don't know if he got some special tackle technique that you haven't seen before. If you try to stiff arm him, he may be key and he's slapping your hands down. It's just that's it. That's pretty much it, man. Like, it's just the difference of, you're not hitting your guys. Like, football is football. It doesn't change. Only thing that's different on every single level is the speed of the game and the complexity of the game. The plays, your plays are going to be way, 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 way more wordier. They're going to be way more complex. They're going to be harder to remember. You have less every time you move up a level. You have less time to react. That's pretty much it. Like, the game is that much faster. So you have to know every single thing, every aspect of the game when you're doing it, because your reaction has to be right. If it's wrong, somebody could possibly get hurt, life-ending career, blow their knee out or something like that. You saw it with the Giants. The running back tried to go out on a pass route, missed the block. The guy comes scot-free off the edge, and Jackson Dart get nailed and end up in the blue tent. You saw it right there. You saw the next play when Falele was out there Faleleing around and Olayed the guy, and he goes and sacked the quarterback again. We saw it a lot last year. The difference between what they had and what we had last year, we had a quarterback that's a magician, and he makes all your wrong shit look right. You can't really tell that. Even though as bad as Falele was last year, Lamar made him right a lot of times when he was wrong. And they won't see that. If he's their starting guard in New York, there's going to be a problem. So the difference is, Matt, is the speed of the game, the knowledge that you're getting from the coaching staffs. Usually on every single level, the coaching goes up and up and up and up. It's more complex, and they understand your schemes better. They know how to put you in position to win. They know how to put you in position to lose. And so as you go there, it's just going to be a much, much, much more complex game. And then the level of talent is that much better. Like, you're going to get hit the hardest you've ever been hit every single play. It's not going to be a lot of plays where you're not going to get your wig split in this league.
Right.
And you're going to be tough enough to take the hit. You're going to be tough enough to give the hit. But almost every single time you get hit, it's going to be probably about as hard as you've ever been hit in that particular manner. Whether it's a shoestring tackle, it's going to be the hardest hit shoestring tackle you've ever had. You got drugged down from the back. It's going to feel harder, tougher than any time you've ever been drugged down from the back. If you get hit in the side and the ribs, you're going to feel like you got hit harder than you ever did in your ribs every single play. When you get punched off the line of scrimmage, you come off and you shoot your hands to punch the block. I'm like, damn, he's strong. You're going to feel that with every single grasp. When somebody grab your jersey and you're trying to get them off and you can't get their hands off you're going to be like, damn, this dude's strong. It's like that every single play. So you got to come up with ways to be as quick, as faster, and to outthink them every single play to the point where you're able to win a rep. That's what it's about, winning each rep.
Absolutely. Now, before we go, it's been a great recap of the first game. What did you think of the Ravens' new home uniforms? It was very slightly changed, but
I love them, bro.
I mean, you're a fashion guy. You said on this show many times that you're pissed that you never got that era of the Ravens with the uniforms and the combinations. Now, when you were here, the all black uniform was like what debuted during your time here, and that was a very slick look. It's still one of my favorite looks to this day.
Yeah, man. I got Ray's poster. Look right up top. That's the release right there. See pitch black.
Yep.
You see that pitch black up there?
Yep.
I got Ray's poster. That's the release of the jersey right there.
Yeah, and just the wings on the collar, the nuance. The letters uniform. The letters look bigger. The numbers look bigger.
They do look bigger, and I like how bright they are. They look really, really white. You can see them really well on television.
And then the pants have a kind of a zigzag purple stripe down the side now. I personally like them. I can't wait to see the first time they wear the white ones. I think that should be this coming week. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you though. That's all, Wilcox. But that'll do it for this episode of We Bleed Purple podcast. We are officially wrapping the first show of the 2026 season. We will be back midweek to cover some more Ravens news and give you a preview to the next preseason game. Wilcox, where can everybody find you on social media?
Man, you can find me on IG at Daniel.Wilcox and on X at Coach Wilcox. Don't forget to go to YouTube to like, follow, and subscribe, and turn all your notifications on to the We Bleed Purple podcast. And Matt, where can they find you?
Mtrig WBP 3547 on X, Mtrig 89 on Instagram. Like Wilcox said, make sure you subscribe. Send this to all your friends, your group chats, your Ravens groups, whatever you're in. We're trying to get our subscriber count up on this YouTube channel we have building. Can't wait to bring some exciting people onto the show later this year. We will see you guys later on this week as we preview the second game, and that is a wrap.
Bird Gang out.